The early 2000s were a golden era for the Digimon franchise, with numerous anime seasons, movies, and video games keeping fans engaged. Flash forward to 2024, it seems that there has never been a better time to be a Digimon fan. However, around 2011, something strange happened. It felt like that Digimon had disappeared from the radar and was more or less seen as a dead franchise. Digimon had seen a decline from the initial boom of popularity in the years prior, which resulted in less and less releases for the franchise. Fans were fairly quiet for the most part, but there also weren't many new fans getting interested in the franchise either. Just older ones with nostalgia that basically made up the fan base for the franchise. However, along with the anime's 15th anniversary came the announcement of a continuation to the original 2 seasons of the Digimon anime, Digimon Adventure Tri. But prior to this, between the gap of after Digimon Cross Wars and before Digimon Adventure Tri's release, the franchise had basically nothing. We had yearly DigiFez, which was more or less started as kind of like this fan-led thing that became more of an official event, but more or less it was just kind of a concert and kind of remembering the franchise, primarily Digimon Adventure and Digimon Adventure 02. But there weren't that many things for the franchise. There weren't many releases. We might get like an anniversary version of Butterfly, which is the opening from the first season in Japanese, but for the most part, there was just nothing for this big gap of time. We had the dub of Cross Wars come out during that time, around 2012, 2013, but other than that, there was nothing from the franchise. There wasn't anything for the older fans, but there also wasn't anything to engage in any potential new fans. So the franchise wasn't really growing. Of course, people will always discover something decades after something has started. For example, I recently got into One Piece, so people will get into things that were already around, but chances are, if there's no new season to rope in a new fan or anything that's new that could potentially get new people interested, there's not probably going to be a huge amount of growth in that franchise's fan base. In regards to One Piece, the live action of the series got a lot of people, myself included, interested in the series and the franchise overall. During this time, Digimon had nothing to really increase the numbers of the fan base, and the existing fans had more or less aged out of the franchise by this point. There were a few dedicated people, obviously, who still liked the franchise, would still consider themselves fans of the franchise, but for the most part, the franchise was essentially dead during this time, until, as I mentioned, the announcement of Digimon Adventure Tri. So not only did we have Digimon Adventure Tri being released, there was also the first video game outside of Japan for the franchise in many, many years. This was called Digimon All-Star Rumble. Now, this is a game that everybody seemed to buy in an act of vote with your wallet, but I don't think many people actually played it. I had it on the Xbox 360, I played it, it was just fine. It was kind of a spiritual successor to the 2 Rumble Arena PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games, but for the most part it was just kind of more of that with some Cross Wars characters in it as well. As far as I'm aware, this didn't get a release in Japan itself, so that was kind of like an interesting exclusive that we got, something that was completely unique to the English release, which was pretty cool. But everyone effectively, at least in my corner of the franchise's fan base, I found that a lot of people just saying, hey, look, even if you don't play this game, even if you don't have a system to play it on, because it was only available on Xbox 360 and PS3, get it. Get this game. not only does it say that people are interested in the Digimon franchise, but it's also the fact that people outside of Japan are interested in the Digimon franchise. During this time before then, there were a few games that were only released in Japan, mainly Digimon World Decode and similar games. So a lot of people wanted that game or similar to have an official English release. So everyone kind of band together and like, let's buy this game. So people bought Digimon All-Star Rumble. So yeah, a lot of people bought it, but I'm not sure if anyone actually really played it. Not many people talk about this game. I only talk about it because I feel like it, along with Digimon Adventure Tri, really kind of spearheaded the Digimon Renaissance, the Digimon reawakening, or the awakening of the franchise again into the more modern day. And that's what the only time I'll ever bring up All-Star Rumble is because it definitely did, at least in my mind, seem to make Bandai, maybe even Toei, realize that Digimon wasn't a dead franchise and there was still demand for the franchise to continue and not just continue on in this kind of dormant / dead state that had been in for the few years prior. So after Digimon All-Star Rumble, we had more exciting news. Digimon fans outside of Japan got a localized game finally, which was Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, and from then on, the franchise continued to ramp up again. But this time targeting new fans with the likes of Digimon Universe Apply Monsters in 2016. So we got the existing fans had Digimon Adventure Tri to kind of tickle that nostalgia button in their brains. We also got Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth to play, which was, again, the first localized game for years, and especially internationally localized. Previously, the Digimon DS did get localized games around the Digimon Savers era, so around 2006-2007. However, those games didn't really see a wider release. Fairly certain we barely got them in Australia, for example. But Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth had a more international and a much wider release than the previous Digimon games, especially the ones that obviously didn't leave Japan. So that was another good thing. We finally got some localized games. And then after Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, we also had Digimon World Next Order. So these games were aimed at an older audience, or the existing fan base, the existing fandom for Digimon, being fans who were now maybe older teens, early 20s, maybe even late 20s, that kind of age range of the original demographic for the franchise that had now grown up. But we also had the likes of Digimon Universe Apply Monsters to try to get some new fans into the series. So we had them kind of trying to get to both demographics. Previously it was only the existing fans, but they tried to actually expand the size of the fan base for the franchise. And then, of course, now that we have Digimon Universe Apply Monsters, the franchise tried to aim itself at both at the same time, and in 2020 we got the reboot of Digimon Adventure, often called Digimon Adventure 2020, the Digimon Adventure reboot, or Digimon Adventure : that is what it's called. It is written as Digimon Adventure and the symbol : but in the Japanese hashtags it's written as Digimon Adventure : So we got that as well, which was kind of aiming at two demographics, new fans and the existing fans, and opinions were fairly mixed on it. I thought it was bad, if not just okay, but many people liked it, many people didn't. It's kind of one of those things that everyone has an opinion, and that's totally cool and valid. So we had that aimed itself at both demographics of new and existing fans. And now, in 2024, again, it is probably the best time to be a Digimon fan. We've had 3 now, or will be 3 soon, series of manga, web novel, and a comic that have been available for free on Digimon.net and officially localized in English. Back even when the franchise was big and cool, back in its heyday, the Digimon manga rarely saw life or any acknowledgement outside of Japan, so it's nice that we have Digimon Seekers, Digimon Dreamers, and now the upcoming Digimon Liberator, which are all available free on Digimon.net. Again, it's not anime. Seekers is a web novel. Dreamers is a manga that started in Psycho Jump but moved to Digimon.net for a more global audience. And the upcoming Digimon Liberator is a webcomic/web manga, which is starting in, I have a feeling it's around April. It's probably just after Digimon Seekers wraps up, to be honest, which is set to end in April. So again, it is the best time to be a Digimon fan at the moment. I've said that before many times, but I will always say it. But there was that kind of brief, weird period for a few years where the Digimon franchise was dead. After this, people finally were like, hey, Digimon is still around, and I feel like in 2024, people have finally stopped saying, hey, is Digimon still around? Because they know the answer is yes. There's also the card game, which is immensely popular. In fact, Digimon Liberator is more or less focused on the card game. Again, if you want more information about Digimon Liberator, of course, it's available or will be available on Digimon.net, but I've also released a video about it as well, so check that out if you haven't already. But in any case, that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Just kind of wanted to go over something that I've often alluded to in various videos about the Digimon Dark Ages, but I thought I'd go over more about what I mean by the Digimon Dark Ages, and we can but hope that the franchise doesn't have another big gap like this. Of course, there will always be lulls in anything. People gotta rest, people gotta have a vacation or something similar, but the big rest of several years where the franchise was dormant/dead, hopefully, doesn't happen again. And at this point, I feel like Bandai getting too much money from the card game for them to just give up on a franchise like this, but fingers crossed in any case. But anyway, let me know your thoughts, comments, questions in the comments section below. Like this video for the hope that Digimon will never just die again. Subscribe if you haven't already, and of course if you have subscribed, tell your friends, tell your neighbours, tell your enemies, and of course I'll see you next video. Bye!